Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek TV at Gen Con 2015. I'm sitting down again with Kevin Broski of 8 Games.
Hi.
Hi, and you brought us Spirits of the Rice Paddy. We were talking earlier, a board cover I was quite in love with, looking at it in the preview list.
The artist is Ani Rochier, who did most of the cover. I fell in love with his work when I saw it. I thought this is going to be perfect. It's really zen, really tranquil. This is just going to be great for this game.
Yes, and hopefully we will feel zen and tranquil while playing it.
Yes, you will, and even while I'm talking to you about it.
I know, right? So what are we trying to accomplish?
Spirits of the Rice Paddy is a game by Phil Duberry, and what you're trying to do is grow rice and be the most profitable after 7 seasons. To do that, you are going to rely very heavily on water coming into your field and laborers and livestock doing the work that needs to be done to make that happen. Okay? The key here is water coming into your field. There's a very, very limited amount of water, and you're going to have to conserve and plan wisely. All right? So you're going to start with an empty field, and this is your field. And as the game progresses, you're going to add walls and gates into your paddy to be able to hold in water. Once you can hold in water, you can flood your fields. Once you can flood your fields, you can start planting and growing rice.
And we were talking earlier that what might not be available on the overhead is the fact that there are actually channels, little grooves in here, both to put your walls in, but then also in your market here, that there'll actually be the piece will sit inside and will not wander off very easily.
That's right. We call it rage resistant. And it is not table flip proof, but it is. It will if there's a jostle on your table. There's going to be a lot going on your board, and you would hate to have it get all messed up. And this kind of helps prevent that a little bit.
All right, why don't you walk us through what a turn might feel like?
Right. So the first thing is you start the game and you've got yourself one planted field. In order to be planted, you've got to have water in it. And you'll notice these green sticks are actually your walls, and the black stick is your gate. Water is going to flow into your field through the gates. It can never flow back up into your reservoir, but it must always flow down through. So the game starts with you playing your spirit cards. These spirit cards are going to be numbered 1 through 20, and each card has different abilities. The lower numbered cards are going to have very weak abilities, but the card number determines turn order. And so if you've got a very low number, you're going to get water before the other players do. And so you've got to weigh, a huge part of the game is weighing the ability on the cards versus your need for water.
Turn order.
And at the beginning of the first turn, before the fourth turn starts, you're going to draft these cards. So you have control over your destiny about what you want to do, at least a moderate amount of control. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play these cards and we're going to resolve the actions on the cards, which usually give you a very good ability or allow you to harm other players in some minor way. Then we do the farm actions. These farm actions are things like, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to allocate your laborers here. And after everybody's allocated their laborers, we go through one by one for these actions, which are things like building walls.
Which we already see what that looks like.
Right. And so I built one, I've got one hex paddy here. If I started up another, this would be a 2 hex paddy. If I go like this.
All right, so we made a little peanut shape here.
Right. I've made a little peanut shape, but now there's a gate down here in the bottom, so I've got 2 paddies now. Water would flow through here, and it would flow out here. My field is going to have rocks in it, which my livestock must remove. You've got to use the livestock to do that, the oxen. Your livestock is actually 2-sided, depending what it's going to do. If it's removing rocks, you put it on the oxen side.
Oh, I see. If it's fertilizing, it's going to be the duck.
If it's fertilizing, you put it on the duck side. That's right. So after we've done your building walls and removing rocks, we go down here and we do water out, which means you take water out of your field and you flow it through. If you want to, you can put it in other parts of your field for later. And if you don't, if it flows all the way through, it goes to the next player's reservoir where it'll be used later. Okay? While there's no water in your field, you can do things like removing weeds, which are going to end up in your field, inevitably. And you can use ducks to remove pesty pests. Now these are all little custom wooden pieces. I don't know if you can see them in the video, but they're very cool little wooden.
Yeah, here I'll lay a couple on their side too, so you can see the full shape there.
That's right. That's cool. And so you can use your ducks and laborers to remove weeds and pests. And if your field, you can also use ducks to help fertilize. I did not use realistic looking fertilizer. I kept those as cubes. And once it's fertilized, it's going to help harvest, give you a better harvest later in the year.
And it looks like finally we have a few water-based actions.
That's right. After you've done your fertilizing, your weeding, your harvesting, you can let water back into your field. At the beginning of the turn, we're going to turn these cards over, and depending on the number of players, that much water is going to be available to the first player. So if in a 2-player game, there's only going to be 2 water available, which you put in your reservoir. And for this particular turn, I would take that water during water in, and I would filter it into my field as I need it. I can only fill it up in my paddies. The rest of the field can't get water, right? So at this point, if I had any water left over, I would put it in the next player's reservoir, and they would filter it through theirs, and so forth, all the way through to all the players. As it is, I have none left over, so anybody in this particular wicked turn, nobody but the first player is going to get any water.
Right.
In that way, you go through and turn after turn, growing, harvesting, planting. After your water is in here, you do anything that's planted and has water is going to grow. And if you've allocated laborers down here, you can put additional planting into your water fields. Yep. At the end of the turn, there's achievements that your players can do. If they've met those achievements, they can take one and collect the rice on there. Rice is the commodity in the game.
Right. So for example, we have harvest a 4 hex paddy this round, or you own 4 livestock.
Right. That's right. And that's the game in a nutshell.
So obviously 2 to 4 players based on the spread on your cards there. How long do you think a full 4-player game would take you?
About 60 to 90 minutes.
So still pretty snappy game.
It is. I would call this a heavy Euro, and a medium to heavy, and this is a brain burner. I've played this game probably 15 times, and I'm very sorry to say I don't think I've ever won it.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'm in it just to play it too. I'm not a big winner myself. Well, if you're interested in checking that out, that is Spirits of the Rice Paddy, which is from Ape Games. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks for your time.